What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Tattoo Critiques. Today we're diving back into the world of TikTok, and these are some of my favorite videos to go over because you really never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, sometimes they're just outright red flags. So without further ado, let's get it started. All right, this first one says she went to London to get her palms tattooed from Luke Ashley, and I know Luke Ashley specifically specializes in palm tattoos. They all end up feeling great, which is very difficult for a palm tattoo, so I'm excited to see what she got. All right, it looks like one of those little monkey bombs from Call of Duty and a ray gun or zapper gun. I don't know, I haven't played Call of Duty in a while. And I'm not sure, but I think her fingers say cure time, which I'm not really sure what that means. And maybe that's a reference from Call of Duty. I'm just really unsure. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments below. I'm hoping she's good at Call of Duty at least. Otherwise, what are we doing? No, I'm not judging a book by its cover. I'm just saying. But either way, I'd love to see these things healed because, like I said before, Luke Ashley absolutely kills it when it comes to palm tattoos. If you're not familiar with Luke Ashley's work, be sure to check it out over on the gram. All right, this next one I've definitely seen before. It comes from the artist Sandry Rifford. I hope I'm saying that right. And this guy always does absolutely phenomenal work. It's usually very high detailed, lots of crazy bright colors. But if I'm being honest, I know it's superb work, but I think a lot of the actual bright colors comes from the direct lighting and a CPL lens. And I'm not taking away anything from his work, I just think that's where a lot of that really bright pop comes from. I do worry about the yellows and oranges in the leg a bit, especially if the guy goes to the beach a lot, because yellow and orange, especially orange, is the first color to get bleached out of any tattoo. So he might just end up with a lot of framework and some patches of blue. But I have a feeling Sandry knows what he's doing when it comes to the application, so I'm not too worried about it. I would just like to see it in 10, 15 years. When we look up at the top, the skull it's absolutely crazy. There's a whole lot of detail, and there's a lot of nice contrast. So even if after time we lose some of that detail, I still think the contrast holds up enough to read as a nice looking skull. And I wonder how long this tattoo actually took because there's a lot there. I do wish maybe the transition were a little better, like maybe some of those fragments from the stained glass window would come up a bit into the rib cage. Just something so it's not so stark. This is where the ribs end and this is where the stained glass begins. And maybe even if the artist brought up some of that blue from the window up into the top, I think that would be really cool as well. That way it just ties it all together. Maybe just some blues in the background where all that black is, and blue is a contrasting color to orange, so it would work really well. I mean, who am I to judge this work? It is stupendous, but these are just some of the things I think about when I look at any tattoo. But excellent job on the artist once again, and I would love to see this thing in about 10 years. All right, this next one looks like a party, a no pants party. Well, that's one way to do it. I think there are better options out there, but I mean, if this makes it easier on the artist, then so be it. But I'd probably keep my mouth closed. You can tell the artist is enjoying himself a little too much, and I wonder what he's actually getting down there. I mean, he's got this Harry Potter face-off with Voldemort and Harry on his chest that's absolutely huge. He's got some Marvel-looking character. I don't know anything about Marvel, surprise, surprise. And some guy with a sword, which I would guess is probably from Lord of the Rings. I don't know, put a sword in anybody's hand and he's from Lord of the Rings in my world. He's also got what I think is Harley Quinn on his left arm, or just some blonde girl. And it looks like something is carved into his arm. I wish I could see what it was, but it's just out of scene. That's gotta hurt so bad. I mean, he is full of movie tattoos. And if I had to guess, I would say they're probably trying to reenact that scene from Requiem for a Dream, if you know what I mean. Well, at least his hand is resting on a couple of nice little pillows. If your tattooer asks you to get in this position, it might be a red flag. Either way, let's check out the next one. Speaking of red flags, this one's all about toxic guy tattoos. Oh, the band of trees. That's definitely a tattoo that I'll turn down nowadays. I've just done, I don't know, only a couple hundred dozen. And for me, those sort of tattoos are some of the most boring tattoos you can get. It just doesn't scream originality by any means. It's usually somebody that saw it online once and thought it looked cool and they decided to get the same thing. It's almost as bad as the rose watch and compass, which, speaking of, was her very next red flag tattoo. I mean, that's kind of the joke in the tattoo world, is the rose pocket watch and compass tattoo. It's probably one of the most done tattoos in the entire world. And a lot of times clients think they're being original by adding their kid's birth time in the watch or something along those lines. But I'm here to tell you it's just not original. I mean, I could understand the compass if you were like a sailor or something like that, but just to add it on there because you saw it in somebody else's tattoo is just rather dull. Also, most of the time, people use that same watch reference. I mean, even myself, I've tattooed that same watch, I don't know, 5, 6 times. Either way, let's see what else they bring up. So the quarterback of the Colts just got his last name tattooed on his back, she says, and that's her toxic guy tattoo, which is another tattoo that I've done numerous times. I don't know if I would call it a toxic guy tattoo or a red flag tattoo, but it is quite boring. She says this guy went under anesthesia to get this tattoo, which I'm not sure. I'm not gonna go check. She also mentions that she's never seen a girl go under anesthesia for a tattoo, which, valid point. And I also don't think I've ever seen a girl with their last name on their upper back. But if we zoom into this Colts player's back, it looks like a lot of Google images just kind of pasted together. There's not really any flow. He's got the roulette reel on the right and the 4 aces right next to that with a rolled up $100 bill, and the angel that we've all tattooed so many times, which is hilarious to have next to a band of money. I bet on Jesus.
You lose.
It's one thing to use Google images for reference, but you have to, especially with such a large canvas, give it some flow. You know, have some good composition, like make these things flow together. Don't just paste them on there. But as far as the last name on the back, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily a red flag. It is about as dull as the pocket watch, rose, and compass, in my opinion. Let's see what else they've got to talk about. All right, this guy says his toxic guy tattoo would have to be upper chest Roman numerals, which is hilarious because that's what he's got. I mean, at least he knows it. Roman numeral tattoos were definitely very popular for a long time, and people still are getting them to this day. I think it's just a cleaner way to go about putting numbers on your body without putting actual numbers on your body. I guess it's artsy. It's the backwards hat for me. I mean, it's the gold chain, the wife beater, the weird looking watch, the sugar-free Red Bull. It's everything about this guy. But I mean, again, at least he knows it. Let's see what else is next. All right, this one says live tattoo cover up ASMR, and I gotta say, I absolutely love this tattoo. I don't know why you would cover this thing up. I mean, this thing is hilarious. But I will say one of my red flags are when you apply stencil stuff to a part of the body and you actually touch the tip of the stencil stuff to the skin. That is disgusting. That's cross-contamination 101. Oh, and he drew a nice little design with the stencil stuff. That's pretty cute. Looks like he's getting some sort of anime tattoo on top, but he's not really gonna cover it unless it's with some dark background. Or she'll end up with Shrek ears, which I guess could work. I mean, I'm kind of bummed that we didn't get to see the end result, but it doesn't look like it's gonna be that much better. As this one commenter says, covering a bad tattoo with a baddie. All right, let's see what else we've got. All right, this one says, when I'm bored, but remember my dad does tattoos in our basement. Yeah, boy. This is already a red flag right here. Oh, and rubbing down the part of the body with no gloves, that's super sanitary. Red flag number 2. And I'm assuming he put his bare hands into that jar of numbing cream after he's already used it on somebody else. Gross. But at least his workstation is clean. I'm kidding. He's got so much junk in the back of his, we'll call this a tattoo station. And I love the Dollar General garbage bag just hanging from the glove dispenser holder. And his cord isn't wrapped, his machine's not wrapped. Yeah, this is just gross all the way around. But let's see what she ends up with, shall we? Oh my God, this guy's also talking on the phone with his gloves on. This is horrible. This is my worst nightmare. Well, this tattoo's turning out great. Ugh, that is rough. But to be fair, it is what I expected. A very terribly done cross with a bunch of what I'm assuming is flowers behind it. But at least he wrapped his armrest, and that's something I see a lot of you dirty motherfuckers don't do. And I bet he's gonna go cuddle with that giant bear later with an unwrapped arm. My expectations are very low. Basement tattoos? Red flag all day. Next. All right, this one says, can any heavily tattooed baddies tell me what's going on with my 3-year-old tattoo? Well, I am a baddie, so hopefully I can help you out. To me, it looks like the reaction is happening, for the most part, in only the red spots, which can be fairly common. Red ink happens to be one of the most, if not the most, reactive inks when it comes to allergies. And this can happen years down the road. Our bodies change in weird ways, and sometimes you can start off being allergic to red ink and that goes away. Or you might not be allergic to red at the start and all of a sudden now you are. Red ink generally contains cadmium, which seems to be the culprit in this situation, which is another reason why I don't use red Sharpies on people, and neither should you. There have been so many times where somebody has came to me with a tattoo that doesn't have any red in it, and I ask them if it was freehanded on, if they happen to remember if it was a red marker, and most of the time it was. That red ink will get injected into your skin, and it can end up doing something similar to this years down the road. You can check out this link that I'll leave in the description below, which Guy Etchison is a legend in the tattoo industry, and he put out this article in a blog that talks talks about red markers and tattoos. Now, I'm no doctor, but in cases like this, sometimes I have tattooed water or witch hazel over a reactive spot and it has gone away. So it just seems like something's in there that needs to find its way out. And this has been another episode of Dr. Pony. All right, this next one is, you know what, I'll go ahead and call this one a red flag. I'm not saying the idea of skull teeth on your face necessarily is a red flag, but it is when you don't really have that many tattoos. I mean, at least fill your belly up first before getting your face tattooed this heavily. You can tell this guy is in so much pain. And also, once again, the machine's not wrapped, the cord's not wrapped. There's just a lot of bad happening here. But at least he's wearing a mask. I mean, can you imagine an infection happening on your face? Ugh. You won't be smiling after that one. I mean, these guys realize that these tattoos are permanent, right? I don't think he cares. And I respect that. And hopefully he's got a good paying job. I mean, if you're going this far, you might as well get the other half of your face tattooed as well. But he does look like he could beat me up, so, I mean, great tattoo. Solid choice. Youch. Next! All right, now this one is on fake skin, but I happened to notice that it was done by my friend Alina Wedderburn, who works out of New York City. And you'll see this thing is so freaking clean. And I know to me, tattooing on fake skin is generally easier, but this thing is just, this is amazing. Alina is an incredible artist in every sort of the way. She paints, she tattoos, she does these fake skins. You can tell at the end of this video, she built a special looking frame for this fake skin. She's just an all-around badass. So head over to Instagram and check out her work as well. She's so crafty. I'm also gonna pause this video right here because if you look at the stencil that she's using, that's kind of crazy. This thing is smeared all over the place. I would be having a panic attack right about now. But more props to her, she pulled it off. All right, let's check out this last video, shall we? All right, this one's sweet. I've always had a thing for Tabori tattoos. They take a lot of patience and generally end up healing super smooth. Even the sound coming from this is absolutely fantastic. The way the skin is snapping away from that needle, oh, this thing gets my juices flowing. This is an ASMR video that I can get down with. If we pause it here on the fullback, you can tell this thing is crispy. Everything is nice and legible, super clean. I mean, this is the way that tattoos were done for thousands of years. See, this is what I like to see, something that is true to culture and done well. This is just a home run. Either way, this thing is badass. Props to the artist and the collector. All right, so that's gonna wrap it up for this dumpster fire. But before we go, I wanna put a spotlight on somebody who I think you should all be following, and that's Mitch J Tattoos out of the Netherlands. He does a style in which he calls neo-Japanese, and I gotta say, this stuff's pretty badass. Like this Yoda tattoo, for example, this thing is just killer. Everything is so symmetrical, the color is absolutely punched in perfectly. All of his designs are so cool. I mean, check out this Labubu, for example. How rad is that? So please do yourself a favor, go check out Mitchell's work and let him know I sent you. All right, that's gonna be it for this episode. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe if you love to see tattoo related content. We try to push out a new video every week. Share this video with all your friends, and until next time, I'll see you next week.